he's blocking us for copyright. You can't copyright the inauguration ceremony. So I don't know. So we are flipping to another feed. So we'll just continue to have it playing in the background here. Mike Church here alive with you on this historic day of the swearing in POTUS number 47, President Trump. It's supposed to happen in about 43 minutes from now. As we await, and again, they have to walk everyone in, then I guess Biden is going to give another farewell. And then Roberts will swear Trump in. And then after Roberts swears Trump in, then there will, I guess Trump will give some remarks. And there will then be, I guess they will process out. And there is to be a parade of some sort, or the traditional pilgrimage, or whatever it is that they call it, which goes down Pennsylvania Avenue and takes you to... So, again, we'll go back to the live picture, because people like him pictures from live inside the Capitol building. Again, for those of you that are watching, the best place to get the video would be on the Roku. If you have access to the Roku channel, because they can't, Roku won't block our video like YouTube will. Rumble probably is not blocking us either. YouTube is just hypersensitive about supposed copyright concerns, even though you can't copyright an inauguration video feed because it's a public service. Okay, so there is Jezebel Jill and Doug Emhoff making their way now into the Senate, into the chamber there, and who is going to, I guess, go sit next to the Clintons. Lucky Doug Emhoff. If he wants to hit on somebody today, it has to be Hillary. A very unenviable place to be. So here's what it sounds like.
We've had reporting about executive actions and executive orders expected.
Yeah. We have to find another feed somewhere that does not have the enemies of the state like Rick Madcow on it. So we'll just keep popping around, and then I'll just keep telling you what else is going on. As I said earlier, if you're just joining us, so Trump will, there will be some sort of a parade down Pennsylvania Avenue. As a matter of fact, when they left the White House earlier, if you were watching the C-SPAN feed, they left from the White House, and then they went to the Capitol building on Pennsylvania Avenue. There are thousands of people. You can hear them either screaming or cheering. I couldn't tell which one, as they were making their way through. All right, through the streets of Mordor. We'll wait till we get to the actual swearing-in ceremony part here. It's the Mike Church Show here live on the CRUSADE Radio Network on January the 20th, 2025, and the inauguration of Donald Trump as 47th president, 47. The only time this has ever been done before, by the way, if you're keeping score. This event is unique. It's only happened once before. That is, a president serves a term, is not reelected, and doesn't serve a consecutive term, and then does get elected and serves a second term. And that happened in the presidency of Grover Cleveland. So Cleveland was elected. He then served his 4 years. He was not reelected, and he decided to run again in 4 years, kind of like Trump, and he won. And so Grover Cleveland is the only president to have skipped a term, if you will.
The last 4 years.
Hence what Molly was talking about.
Yeah, and so Cleveland, and of course Cleveland had the record for vetoes. Until I believe Reagan actually broke the veto record here. I hope Trump might use the veto pen as well, and at least threaten Congress with, I'm not going to sign this, or I'm not going to sign that. We shall find out. The schedule then is for after the swearing-in ceremony that there will be some remarks from now President Trump, and then they will get back into they'll get into their motorcade, and they will make their way down Pennsylvania Avenue, and they will go. I believe there is a ball. Do you have the schedule?
I do.
I think there was a ball. There was some event twixt the swearing in and then the trip over to the Capital One Center. By the way, the Capital One Center was available. Okay, so here's swearing in. Farewell to the former president and vice president. How about, can we scratch that out and put good riddance to the former president and vice president, U.S. Capitol departure ceremony, and then the president's signing room ceremony, whatever that is, then the JCCIC congressional luncheon, and I guess that that's the members of Congress will go hang out together and have lunch. The president's review of the troops, presidential parade, and then that is at Capital One Arena. And then there is the Oval Office signing ceremony at the White House, and then there is the Commander-in-Chief Ball this evening, the Liberty Inaugural Ball, the Starlight Ball. So there's 3 balls that Trump is going to go to, and then on tomorrow there is a National Prayer Breakfast, and then they will move over to the and then of course we'll begin coverage. I would imagine that Catherine Leverrett's first press conference is going to be tomorrow.
Oh yes, it's an incredible family.
So, again, live coverage here of the inauguration of Donald Trump. Hard to believe that this is actually going to come to pass. Who would have predicted this a year ago? Who would have predicted this when you people, some of you were telling me that it's not going to matter, he's going to lose anyway. Who would have predicted this when, after Fonnie Willis and the indictment of Trump, which was was in October of 2023 or September of 2023 was handed down, and then of course the court case would begin later that day or early in 2024, and there would be of course we covered all this live. Who would have predicted this after Mountaitia James from the state of New York began the proceedings against Trump, which Trump's lawyers adroitly tried to stiff arm and stop from happening, which didn't do any good. And then who would have predicted this after the Iowa caucuses, which Trump won, the New Hampshire primary, which we were telling you then, look, the nomination is, remember the early part of last year? Nikki Haley. I haven't seen Nikki Haley in the who's who, the ruling elites who have filled the Capitol Rotunda chamber there. I did see her in the past couple of weeks, but I don't see her here at this gathering. She certainly wasn't at the MAGA rally. But remember, Nikki Haley refused to stand down, refused to grant that Trump was going to ultimately be the nominee, and she stayed into May, I want to say?
A rather opaque.
Okay, so I'm just eavesdropping in on the sound to see as they await. And I guess Biden will, because Biden's not there, Biden will come in next. I wonder if how's Biden going to get in there without an escort? Do you think they have, like on an airplane, the lights on the floor? And they tell you, in the case of an emergency, the lights will illuminate on the floor. Follow the light. Follow the light, Caroline. Tell Biden, no, Mr. President, no, just walk straight. Yeah, see the pretty lady in the purple? Just walk straight. By the way, this question was asked earlier. The question was asked earlier, and apparently there are people that can make conspiracies out of everything. Supposedly, it is some sort of a conspiracy to be wearing purple on Inauguration Day, since President Trump is, okay, there's Mrs. J.D. Vance. The Vances are now making their way in. And you can, we can eavesdrop on the scene for just a minute here. We don't want them to cut our video feed off. There is J.D. Vance's wife, and she has a color guard escort. Here comes Melania, who also has a color guard escort. And again, live pictures here. This particular shot, courtesy of Fox News. Live here on the CRUSADE Radio Network, we are covering the inauguration of President Trump. And then I guess the next one to come in or to make their way into the rotunda will be, this is almost like a wedding rehearsal. You know, where you got to hit your marks, and I guess next to make their way in will be Biden, and then the next to make their way in will then obviously be Trump, as they all pack into the rotunda here as we await the official proceeding of the ceremony to begin. And if you're wondering why you're not getting a picture, I guess we could try the picture-in-picture to just kind of show you what it is that you would see if you were watching this. There's Barron Trump next to him. That's Steve Witkoff. Tim Cook of Apple is there. The drapes have opened up behind the presidential podium. Okay, I guess this guy is going to sing. Christopher Macchio.
To thee I will be. Oh, America, no weeping.
That's them.
Yeah, they lost their feed. This back.
That's them.
Oh, they lost their feed again.
My keeping till there'll be.
That's Hakeem Jeffries, and there's Biden and Harris behind Hakeem. Does anyone else lost audio? Oh my God! Yeah, it looks like they lost their audio. They still got video. Someone is monkeying around with the.
Whoever's doing their audio is not.
No, it looks to me like it's a satellite feed.
Maggie O'Connell.
What's that?
Sounds like me, they need Maggie O'Connell.
Ah.
Rivers to the sea, from your mountains grand, and all through this land, you are beautiful to me. Oh, America, you're calling. Oh, I can
There's
hear
J.D.
you
Vance making his way in.
You are calling me to thee, oh, I will be. And we will be as one.
By the way, just to show you how difficult live anything is, and you got to have everything perfect here. Whoever is doing the audio for Fox is trying to go back and forth between the audio feed and their camera. The cameraman that is following Vance and the others into the rotunda is obviously mic'd. Because you can, not only can you hear the guy like fiddling with the knobs, trying to mute the audio feed. So welcoming all of you in here who are watching their speaker Mike Johnson with Amy Klobuchar. I don't know why he gets or Klobuchar gets an entrance with Johnson. Don't know who these people who are making their way. Okay, well, I know who that is. That is Steve Scalise and there's Schmuckle Schumer making their way. And Pelosi's not here. I guess Klobuchar is filling in for Nazi Pelosi.
Jackie Barber. the Clerk of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Kevin F. McCumber, Mr. John Bessler, Mrs. Kelly Johnson, Mrs. Iris Weinschall Schumer, and Mrs. Jennifer Scalise.
So the Scalises get an introduction, and that's because he is the majority leader. There's President Trump. Look, doesn't he look business? He looks like, okay, let's get this over with. I got people to fire. Let's get this over with. I do. I already said I do. Let's get it over with. I got people to fire. Chuck, get out of my way. Schumer, just move. Get out of the way. He looks very resigned. There's Melania, finally cracking a smile. She looks very European aristocrat today. Look how he towers over. Look at how Barron just towers over his mother. Look at it. That kid is tall. Of all the Trump kids, though, I will tell you that Barron looks the most like Donald. And I guess we're now awaiting the President Trump to make his way, and they'll give us the trumpet fanfare, and then we'll get the grand entrance.
Escorting the President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States, ranking member of the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, the Honorable Deb Fischer, House Democratic Leader, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, and Senate Majority Secretary, the Honorable Robert Duncan.
How do you get the honorable title? I want to be the Honorable KingDude. Now presenting, making their way into the studio Saint Michel.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, the Honorable Joseph R. Biden Jr., and Vice President of the United States, the Honorable Kamala Devi Harris.
Let's go, Brandon! Would it be hysterical if somebody yelled out, "Let's go, Brandon"? Look at Biden going like, this is a pretty big effing deal. Welcoming all of you listening or watching wherever you may be listening or watching. Mike Church here with you on the Crusade Radio Network. Here on a Monday, it is January the 20th, 2025, a day that couldn't come fast enough for some of us, and that some of us thought never would come. But here we are. Crusader Stadium chat room is open at crusadechannel.com/chat for your commentary. And now we will get the announcement of President Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, escorting the Vice President-elect, the Executive Director for the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Mr. Michael Wagner, Senate Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms and Doorkeeper, Jason Bell, and House Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms, Mr. Sean Keating.
So a Deputy Sergeant-at-Arms and a doorkeeper aren't honorable. Got it. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Vice President-elect of the United States, the Honorable J.D. Vance.
Whoever would have thought in 2014 when the book Hillbilly Elegy came out that this guy would be Vice President of the United States someday. And the odds-on favorite, if you ask me, for 2028 to be President, POTUS 48. Let's go, Brandon! By the way, for my Catholic bros out there, we got one of us getting ready to get sworn in as Vice President of the United States. He's no Mike Pence turncoat. He is an actual practicing Catholic. By the way, Vance and Don Jr. both have red ties on, pretty much the same tie that I have on. So the color purple, if you're wondering, is being used today because it's supposed to be a color of unity. Look, Oprah made a movie about it, didn't she? The color purple.
That's not unity.
Was it Oprah? She wasn't asking for unity?
Escorting the president-elect, the staff director for the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, Elizabeth Farah. House Sergeant-at-Arms, the Honorable William P. McFarland. Senate Sergeant-at-Arms and Doorkeeper, the Honorable Jennifer A. Hemingway. Senate Majority Leader, the Honorable John Thune. And the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies, House Democratic Leader, the Honorable Hakeem Jeffries. House Majority Leader, the Honorable Steve Scalise. Speaker of the House of Representatives, the